story is not just my own, but is shared by many students who have walked this campus and still do today. Some some are in this auditorium right now, and some, like me, have moved on to the next chapter of their lives. So Frances and I met in our sorority. I came in when she's 2 years ahead of me, so her best friend in the sorority was my big sister.
I have lived now since 17 and a half with bipolar disorder type 1 with psychotic features.
Ever since I was little, I've noticed my dad would drink constantly. So my whole entire life of 15 years, my dad has been an alcoholic.
My moods are on two ends of the spectrum. I'm either depressed or mildly manic.
But we just had kind of a fun, silly relationship, the three of us did, and I looked up to their friendship and just up to them in general, and I just really appreciated the fact that they took me in to kind of their group and introduced me to their older friends as I was kind of the new one.
I have terrible manic highs and awful depressive lows. Mixed in with that, I suffer from paranoid delusions, hallucinations, both auditory and visual.
And I've been feeling the aspects of depression for about 6 years. And in the fall, it got really bad. And I told my best friend about what I was going through and that I needed his support to help me go to counseling.
Initially, I didn't realize who she was talking about, and I kind of put it together finally, and because I just didn't believe it, because Frances was always such a happy person.
Plus I've been around my mom's depression, which she's worked very hard to get through, and it's been a hard life, but we've gotten through that.
I was able to start going to counseling, and I started feeling a lot better. So I was going to counseling for about 6 months, and then I hit another low, and I was feeling suicidal.
Looking back, I know there were moments when she was trying to get rid of her things. She had very high highs and very low lows at times.
I had isolated myself from all of my friends and family. I cut off my best friend. I hadn't talked to anybody in a week. So there was a Friday night. I sat in my room and I was planning my death.
And I just remember not knowing what to do. I couldn't find my keys. I couldn't even get into my car. I just couldn't believe it had happened.
I was planning that after all my roommates went out, that I would wait a couple minutes so that they'd be gone. Then I could go to the parking structure and jump off of it. And nothing can really describe the feeling that you get when the feeling sinks in that tonight is the night that I die. Tonight's the night that I set my plan into action, and tonight I end my life.
I got professional help, but I didn't adhere to the treatment that was being suggested or handed in front of me to try to accomplish. I didn't listen. I didn't listen to my parents. I didn't listen to the doctors. I didn't listen to the various clinicians in the field who were saying, Kevin, you have bipolar disorder. This is what you have to do to try to get well.
So I sat in my room alone waiting, and my girlfriend came in to say goodnight. And even though I tried to pretend that everything was fine, that I was just having another night where I was just going to go to bed early, she could tell that there was something different. And she refused to leave me alone. She wouldn't let me out of her sight. And that night I can easily say that my girlfriend saved my life.
Nobody knew what to say or do. Nobody knew how to console me, and I didn't even know what I needed. So I was met with a lot of just kind of blank stares and subject changes.
I decided that I couldn't take care of my mental illness on my own, that I needed professional help.
But all I wanted was for somebody to look at me and ask what was happening and what I was feeling, not change the subject, not just look at me, not just give me a hug, but to take it head on and talk to me about it.
I've done the write a letter that you never sent to just release those emotions because I don't want to bring anyone else down. So I do that, and then I have a counselor and I talk to her, and that helps, and I talk to my friends and all that things, and that they help me stay positive.
So I went to my counselor the next day and told her what had happened, and she sent me to a psychiatrist who diagnosed me as bipolar type 2.
It makes me want to tell my story because I know a lot of other people went through what I did. And I think that people need to know that there are other people out there who know what you're feeling. It might not seem like that at the time because I know that's how I felt. Until I walked into transitions and spoke to them and walked out. I remember walking out feeling so much relief because I finally found people that would talk to me about it.
The only advice that I have for friends and family of somebody with a mental illness is that the best thing that they can do is to be there for that person. Whether that's just listening or giving advice. But the most helpful thing for me as somebody with a mental illness is knowing that I have a support group.
Go find a relative or something, someone that they can talk to, or someone professional that they can talk to.
To people who think that they might be suffering from a mental illness is that the more you wait, the worse it's going to get.
It doesn't happen overnight. Nothing I say could necessarily make you feel better, tomorrow. But you can understand that if I can live well with this disease, and if I can never attempt to take my own life again, you, or the person I'd be talking to, could never even attempt to begin with. Because you deserve to be here. And we want you here. And there are people in your life that love you dearly and that need you here.
There is the Transitions Mental Health Association in San Luis Obispo, and they have all sorts of different resources, not only for the person suffering from a mental illness, but for their family as well.
Well, I think students have the idea that they have to have a really serious problem, or they have to really be in distress to come see us. And we see a range of students. So we see students who are broke up from a relationship. We see students who want to be in a relationship. We see students who have test anxiety. We also see students with pretty serious anxiety and depression. So we really see the range of things. We see students who are in the coming out process, who are wondering if they might be gay or lesbian. We see students with family issues, roommate problems, so it's really the range. And so I think sometimes that surprises students.
The most powerful resource that I've experienced is the counseling services at Cal Poly. I went in there, they have walk-in appointments, and you just walk in, you fill out some paperwork, and they'll get you with a counselor right away.
You know, one thing is that we want students, staff and faculty on campus to have some comfort with asking some difficult questions. And so the difficult questions have to do with, are you thinking about hurting yourself or killing yourself? And, but if they say yes, then the second question we would want people to ask is, do you have a plan? And if the answer to those questions are both yes, then we really want people to take the next step. And so that could be calling us, it could be bringing the person in, and we're happy to see students along with a support person. It could be calling the crisis line. If you call the health center, it's after hours. There's there's an after hours advice nurse line. So there are a lot of options that people have, and we would really want them to reach out.
Although you may feel like you're the only one going through what you are, the reality is that it's normal, everyday people who at one point in their life will either know somebody suffering from a mental illness or suffer from one themselves.
I want to share that, no one out there is alone at all.
You are on this planet for a purpose. Maybe you feel you haven't found that purpose yet. I certainly felt I didn't have a purpose.
And it's extremely important that you don't wait to get help, whether that help is opening up to your friends or going to counseling services and getting professional help.
I hope that they keep going with what they want to do in life, and they do what they don't let mental illness or alcoholism or drugs or anything keep them back from what they want to do.
To a person who's sitting in front of me saying that they want to take their own life, I think I would simply say, your life is too pertinent to end it that way. And you can find your purpose if you work hard to get well.
Although we all go through difficult times, we are worth healing. But sometimes we need help to get through that process. It reads, "My healing is already in process. My willingness to forgive begins my healing process. I allow the love from my own heart to wash through me, cleansing and healing every part of my body. I know that I am worth healing."